Hey, welcome everybody. Appreciate everybody being here again. Excited to extend our season. Another week with our guys to be able to earn that. Lots of benefits for our program. Besides competing for a championship, just to continue to develop our guys to be able to have more time on task, things like that. We really think is important. So. Just recapping last week here, I think what we really tried to talk about with our guys a week ago is just all of our culture, points that we make day in and day out here, what we emphasize that our image and our brand of who we want to be, that those two things are aligning and that we live that out, every single day, that continues to be who we are in our DNA, that we embrace hard, that we embrace being tough, and that we do the right thing. Even though it's the hard thing. And I thought, for the most part all week, our guys have done a good job. It's been a staple of our team to practice well. Going into Saturday, going into the game, I thought we got off to a good start, 14-0. We get an explosive play to BJ and really have a chance, I felt like on defense to go get off the field and get the ball back to our offense once again and try to get some more separation and get it a 3-score game. I really thought there was 2 points in the game where we could do that, but I didn't think we did a good enough job, especially in the first half. And you got to give South Dakota State credit too as well for some of the formations and things like that we were getting. We just didn't fit things up like we wanted to in the run game on defense. Went in at halftime, made some adjustments, and I thought did a better job. Our guys handled it better, but just as a coaching staff and namely me, I got to do a better job there of getting it to our guys before halftime. But then in the third quarter, started out decent there, got up 20-7, had a goal line stand to be able to keep it 20-7, and then the second part of the game where I thought we had a chance to really separate ourselves as they muff a punt and we're up 20-7, and really to go down and score, go down there and score would have been awfully hard, on them to be able to come back. But on the flip side, we don't score. And then we don't execute on 2 third downs. One's a PI, one's a miscommunication, and then the very next play they score a touchdown. We got to do a better job just of reading our keys and going through our processes, and just that's what this is all about. Just playing and play out is playing the right leverage, playing the right technique. Cycle of the snap, making sure we're doing a good job of getting the calls and communicating and just doing it play in and play out, but. Long story short, we didn't do that, gave up a touchdown, and then the very next play, we turn it over on offense, and then it's 21-20, in a hurry, and now we're obviously in a dogfight. And a credit to our guys. We got down 21-28, tough deal on special teams, making it a long field for us there, but I really thought Jerry was dialed in, the last series there. Made a bunch of throws that were the right decisions, that were really accurate, extended some plays with his feet too as well. Even some of the decision-making that he made, I thought was really, really good. And then to score and get the 2-point conversion, which is not easy in those situations, was really good. And then back to some execution things in overtime. Our first play on offense, just lack of execution there. And then really the last play on defense, we got to be able to execute the call better. So ultimately things, a lot of learns in there, things that we can get better at, and that we need to continue to grow here, this week. So, moving on to Tennessee Tech, I just think, Coach Wilder's done a great job there of acquiring talent. As you look at, we get to know their roster. I think there's 7 transfers on offense that are all starting, 5 on defense, a number of guys in there 2 deep too as well that were really successful at different programs throughout all different levels of college football. I think their quarterback, really good player, competitive, was at Eastern Washington, the last 2 years, did a lot of good things there. Completion percentage, off the charts, 70%, moves and does some things with his feet too as well. I think he's really competitive. That'll be a huge emphasis for us on defense, is making sure that, we do a good job there of making him earn everything he gets, whether that's, throwing the ball or running the ball too as well. I think their running back, number 28, is a big, powerful back, does a really good job. And then 27 was at Murray State and played in the Alaris Center last year, and he's another complimentary back to 28. I think those 2 guys back there really do a good job, and they'll play physical too as well at times. And I just think their receivers are really good players. 3 and 14 are bigger, kind of wider, X-type guys off of it. They're strong. They're good in one-on-one situations. I think they do a really good job of hand fighting you and finding a way to be able to come down with the ball. And then 2 and 1 are slot guys for them, and they'll be jet sweep guys. They'll find different ways to get those guys the football. So really like what they're able to do on offense and how they're able to threaten you. I think, like I said, a dynamic quarterback, number one, that's really competitive and played a lot of football. Started 2 years in the Big Sky and has now won the job there and has played there all year. And then defensively, a lot of different versions of cover 3, quarters, base 2 as well. Really sound. We think 20, their free safety, is a guy who's really active, makes a ton of plays. Both their backers really drive it, for them. You can tell those guys are veteran guys, 9 and 19, and have played a lot of football too as well. And then up front, I think the thing that they play really, really hard is one thing that you really notice. And then the other thing that you notice is just the amount of guys that they're rotating up front. And it's really impressive, and the drop-off is virtually non-existent from whoever else is playing there. There's a bunch of numbers that you're scratching down as you're watching all the different guys that are coming in the game. So for us, once again, it's lock the door. It's limit the noise. It's about our internal processes, all right, and our internal standards. Like, that's something I thought last week, and I knew it being a big game at the end of the season, senior day, all that kind of stuff. Like, we needed to be emotionally tougher there and be able to handle, being disciplined in a lot of different situations. It's not necessarily penalties that I'm talking about. It's, once again, how you go about winning the pre-snap, how you go about, the cycle of the snap, and those were things that I really felt like our guys throughout the year have been really, really consistent about, and now they just got to get back to doing that. So obviously a good week for us with the holiday break. We can focus a lot on football, but it's time to go just disappear in the work and go get prepared and ready to play our best football here on Saturday. So any questions for me?
Well, Coach, what do you think about taking the number one strength of schedule into the postseason?
Yeah, I think it was huge for us, right? I think that's something that we talk about around here a lot. Philosophy that I really believe in. It's anybody, anywhere, anytime. We want to play in those games. I think it's a really good barometer for us in a non-conference. It gets us ready for the conference season too as well. But to know where you're at, and you want to be able to go and play in those games. And obviously, if you can win those games, they're going to set you up to be able to be a national seed and to be seeded high. And if you lose those games, I still think it's, you're competitive in those games. It's still going to be, you're going to be matched up against playoff teams, their resumes, and how you fared against those guys and those teams later in the season. So, we're trying to schedule a game here yet for next year, and have talked to a lot of places, a lot of really good programs throughout the country, trying to say, hey, man, we'd love to play you here next year. And I think that's one thing, the average fan probably doesn't always dig into all those things as far as what those metrics are. But when you get all those committee members and ADs and people like that in a room together, like, they know some of those conversations and understand that, hey, who's trying to find games, who wants to play in those types of games, and who doesn't. And I just think, when you're playing in those games and you challenge yourself, like, you got a chance to be able to get rewarded, and we were.
What do you know so far about B.J. Fleming, left in the third quarter last week here?
Well, a little unknown right now. I think it's day to day. I don't think it's anything structurally. Our doctors, checked him out yesterday. He'll come back in here this afternoon, continue to get treatment and those types of things. Obviously he's an important piece for us. When he goes out of the game, there's just a guy who's been able to be explosive for us, all year long. So I do think, that he has a better than a 50 chance to be able to play. Talking to our trainers and talking to our docs and things like that, like, he needs to really do a good job here of getting into treatments. And I think, if we can, manage him this week and slowly bring him back, he'll have a great opportunity to be able to play on Saturday.
Obviously, Saturday during the press conference, you kind of gave your pitch to the committees, saying that, your schedule's, tough schedule, and the way that you guys played all year, just your reaction when you see your name come across the TV screen Saturday. Yeah,
it's like a new life, right? Like, it's you never want to have your fate, put into the hands of other people. And I think, that was where the disappointment after the game was, just, playing better in those situations. I think especially defensively, I didn't think that, we played to our standard, being able to stop the run, being able to play more sound, not give up explosive plays, especially, it was a challenge with South Dakota State's situation for them to be able to throw the football, So I thought like we could have been more dominant on that side of the ball and did a better job, especially with a 2-score lead in the second half. So that was something that was addressed that we need to get better at. But yeah, I think, just throughout the entire year and just being competitive and being consistent every single week against, Kansas State, I think was obviously something that helped us too as well. I think early in the season, people were starving for football, to watch football at that time of year. I think during that window, we were the only close game going on in college football, so there was a lot of eyeballs on us, early in the season, and had an opportunity to win there. Obviously, went to Missoula and had an opportunity too as well. So I just think, the consistency over an entire season, and you're always going to be compared, your body of work compared to everybody else. So how do you play week in and week out against, not just your own league, and obviously our league's really, really tough. Like, I appreciate the competition. That's one thing that's tough about our league is, there's one seed in our league. Everybody else, beat up on everybody else, and we get one seeded team in the top 8. So now we got to have to, really fight, and everybody in our league is going to have to go to work here, week 1 and start to work their way through the tournament.
For you, obviously, your first year as head coach, your quarterback, first year as a starting quarterback, and you guys both get into the postseason after not making it last season. Just how rewarding is that, knowing that you have a second life here in the postseason now? Yeah,
I think that needs to be the expectation and the standard here, every single year. And I think, our guys have done a great job of leaning in on the work and what the goals are here. We talk a lot about our vision and our goals and wanting to win our league and win a national championship and do it with integrity and do it with class and do it with academic excellence. And our guys, there's a belief there, that they can go out there and they can do it. And you look at, just how much, this place has improved as far as, facilities and just the guts of the operation too as well, how much we're pouring into our guys and all the different helpers and supporters that we have, whether that's sports science, nutrition, dietetics, all those things. I think the guys, there's a confidence that comes with, just running a place clean, everything's on time. The guys, feel like, that there's a belief and a confidence in how it's run, that they're going to get better and that they're going to become the best versions of themselves.
You mentioned South Dakota State game. Just over the course of the 5 one-score losses, is there one thing or a couple things that you pinpoint that you need to correct heading into the postseason, or?
Yeah, no, I think it's been different things. I think the Montana game and the South Dakota State game were similar just as far as defensively. I think we have to become a more dominant defense, especially in those situations when we have the offense stressed. It was 3rd and long. It was 4th and long at Montana. It was 3rd and long, here the other night. So I think those are things situationally that we can get better. I think, the other thing that we need to continue to challenge our guys is all season long. I've really thought our best players have been our best players throughout the season. And our best players, especially on defense, didn't play to the standard on Saturday. And that's something that, we challenge those guys. I think it's, where we have to be, assignment sharp, really assignment perfect out there. And our efforts got to be at a high level. And their effort was good, don't get me wrong, but just some of the assignment things that, we got to make sure when we're rushing, you need to rush, and when we're in certain calls and we want to overwhelm people, that the DBs are playing a certain way because they expect our guys to be able to go there and get to the quarterback, in a hurry. So those 2 games I think were similar. And then, I think the thing where we've improved and got better, and I know it wasn't technically a 2-minute situation, but to go down at the end of the game and score, like we hadn't done that yet this year, to make it 28-28. And once again, I think the last 2 times that we've been in those situations against South Dakota State and North Dakota State, they've been long fields. It isn't like we got the ball at the 50 and had 2.5 minutes left to go and had all of our timeouts and all those things. We didn't have any timeouts. We had to go 85 yards against a really good defense. So I think there's some confidence that, hey, we've improved in that aspect. Now on defense, we got to do a better job of being able to shut the door once we get those opportunities.
What were the emotions between the end of that SDSU game and before hearing your name called? What was going through your head during that time? Well,
it's a roller coaster, right? And I think, Tom asked me the question yesterday just about, hey, do you think about, the other teams and all that kind of stuff? And you're so wrapped up in your own club that you don't really start to try to compare your resume to everybody else. You're really looking about, hey, like your internal processes, once again, your standards. How do we get better? Where do we need to improve? How do we get our guys kind of over the hump there in some of those close games? Like, do we need to practice differently? Do we need to, do we need to emphasize, different things at different times during the week? But it's really more just looking within, and really trying to figure out, what do we have to do to move our program forward? And then obviously you get closer to the selection show and you're just, you're just wondering, like what's going to happen there. And to see your name go back up there, I think it rejuvenated a lot of guys in our building. The seniors have put a ton of work in here, the last 10 months since our staff's gotten here. So for them to be able to reward it, for them to be able to, for the brotherhood to be around here, at least for another week, I think is really good. And then for the entire program, I think the time on task that you get to spend with your freshmen, with your developmental guys, that they get to spend with, all the performance team and everything like that, it's just going to make our team, better in the long run. So yeah, I think it's a huge shot in the arm. Now we got to go, take advantage of getting in the tournament.
When you look back to some of those big defining moments of this regular season, was there a moment that stood out to you that you were like, this group of guys is going to be the group of guys that will be able to make it into the playoffs and have a successful run?
Yeah, I don't know if you can put, one single, season or one moment in the season. I really thought once we invested in football, through training camp, that our guys got a lot better. We're getting better and we're getting better. And then you take the field against Kansas State for your opener, and how good, they were a year ago. They had played Iowa State over in Ireland at that time, and it was a one-score game all the way down till the end of the game. So we knew going in there, like, this is a really good football team, and we're gonna have to play well even to be able to give ourselves a chance to win. And as that game played out, we stopped them a few times. Jerry was doing a really good job. We were moving the ball on offense pretty consistently. And, you get to halftime, you got a lead. You're like, all right, like, our guys are, we got a shot here today. Just looking at, you look at the matchups and things like that as you watch the line of scrimmage, as you were watching some of the explosive plays, as, you were winning on third downs and things like that. Like it was, it was even. And then, at the end of the game to get a stop there with just over 2 minutes left to go and be, having the ball up for, with they had all three timeouts left, but it was 2 minutes and 10 seconds left to go in the game. So I think just kind of, mentally in your process going like, hey, like we match up against a really good football team here today. And then, moving on to Montana, I thought the same thing. Our guys came out with an intact style mentality, and I really thought it was poised out there at the end of the game. We panicked a little bit, just as a team, and needed to do a better job of just handling the situation there, especially once again on the defensive side of the ball. So after that, we went on a 5-game winning streak and beat some really good teams on the road. Youngstown at home, Southern Illinois on the road, and really, got off to decisive starts. And both those games had really big leads at halftime. So I think through that stretch, we were playing our best football, and now it's time, I think, for us to be able to do a better job of getting back to that, playing really, really consistently on defense, and then offensively spreading the ball around, getting the ball to all of our different position groups, and then I think that opens it up for Sawyer and for Colton and X and Z-Barth and all those guys, in the run game too as well.
Is there any aspects of Tennessee Tech's environment that stand out to you that's unique or anything along those lines?
Well, it's going to be interesting because they're going through a stadium renovation right now. So I know a lot's been made here in the past about tents for locker rooms and things like that. So we're actually going inside. They're going in the tents. This year. So yeah, it's just one of those things. They're going through a big upgrade to their stadium. So that'll be a little bit different. There won't be stands on one side. It'll be under construction. On one side, and you can see when you get all the film, we get. Obviously, the game film from the universities and everything that we see is across the new structure. So to kind of see, what's on the where all the fans are sitting and stuff like that, you don't get a great picture of that. So it'll be a little unique that way, just going into a place that's that's being renovated. But other than that, it's just like I always say, like, hey, we'll go play anywhere, anytime, any place. So if we got to, walk to get there, put the ball down and play in the street, like we'll do that. And our guys are prepared and ready to go.
For you in your first year, when you took the job, did you envision going into the playoffs in your first year? Was that like a goal you had set?
I believe in our guys. Like I think, really, I think for the most part, our guys have been consistent every single day. Like I said, it's been a staple of who they are. I think they're starving to be able to get better. They really want to restore, the colors here and the pride in the colors here and making this place, one of the destination spots in FCS football. So I believe in those guys. Like I said, we had a really feel like we had we're a good, solid team that had a bad day, especially on the defensive side of the ball on Saturday, and now it's time for us to be able to go regroup and get better there. But yeah, I mean, I think that's always going to be the goal of this place, and the expectation is to not only be in the playoffs, but to be able to be in the playoffs and to be able to be at home. I think is something too as well that we need to continue to strive for, and should be an expectation here too as well.
Well, like Coach says, thanks for being here. Excited to be here and getting a chance to talk to you guys. Recapping South Dakota State, obviously, like Coach said, good to get off to a good start. Get in at halftime and be up and things of that nature. But pretty frustrated with the second half and the third quarter, most specifically. Just our consistency level and our ability to have a killer instinct. To be quite honest with you, turn the ball over twice and two preventable situations that we feel like if we were just a little bit firmer, a little bit better with our eyes and with our feet, we'll be in good shape here moving forward. But just frustrated. The defense did a heck of a job getting stops. Special teams did a great job of getting us plus territory, times in the field position battle, and we got to take advantage of those situations. So we got to do a better job with that stuff, and like I said, ball security, take advantage of turnovers, and ball security is obviously the most important thing that I continue to just replay in my head, because you can't turn the ball over against teams like that, or teams that we're going to play and hopefully continue to play as we move forward, and we do a better job with that. We'd probably be a little bit happier Saturday afternoon. But proud of the battle that the guys, competed, went out and got after it, and, didn't have any second guesses about themselves or look in their eyes like they weren't prepared, weren't ready to go. Just like I said, frustrated with third downs and taking advantage of momentum plays and the ball security. So got to try and grow and, become better, through the next week, because that's what we're guaranteed here, and keep learning. Obviously excited about the opportunity. Tennessee Tech's got a great program, great defense. We got our hands full. Their D-line, their linebackers are really special, fast, physical, do a lot of really great things. Their secondary is really, really good too. Does a lot of really great things and create a lot of stress for us. So it'll be a good battle, good test. But I think our guys will be ready and up for the challenge. And, we just got to do a great job this week of attacking it every single day and going 1-0 in those situations. And, excited for it. So.
Coach Schmidt talked about, as a team kind of getting back to the mojo maybe that existed in that winning streak. From an offensive perspective, what does that mean for your group? Was there something that was taking place in that stretch that you'd like to get back to?
Well, I think like Coach said, your best players got to show up in the most important moments. And, we've talked as, a quarterback room a lot about we got to become the best in our fundamentals and our techniques in critical situations. And, I think on Saturday when you look at the South Dakota State game, really only one read that Jerry had all day was not on par or not correct. So I think it was a really good day from an eye perspective, if you will, a pre to post snap process for the kid. But you got to be perfect when it comes down to your fundamentals and your techniques, and not get, I always say, don't get wired up in those situations where you're over gripping the ball. You're stressed because it's like, oh my gosh, I got exactly what I wanted. I got exactly what I thought. And even when it isn't exactly what you thought, he did a great job of working through his process at sometimes getting to his fourth option, But then I think it comes down to, like Coach said, you got to make the play when the ball's in the air. We had a couple balls that, Jerry missed and overthrew and stuff like that. But if we're technique fundamentally driven on his side and we're a little bit better, maybe he can aim a little bit smaller, and those are catches or completions or better, tighter throws. But those guys got to come down with the ball as well. They got to stack defenders and stay tight. And when the ball's in the air, they got to go make it. And I think that goes for our guys in protection, our guys in the run game. Like at times we're really locked in, we're really keyed. We know exactly what's going on. Third down pressures. opening play actions. We just got to do a better job of really honing into the finer details. And when you're playing great teams and great players like you do every Saturday in this league, like Coach said, I mean, it comes down to your techniques and your fundamentals. It doesn't usually come down to schematics. It's about where are my hands, where are my feet, where are my eyes, and those are the things that help you, be successful in those critical situations. So we got to get our guys to show up and be the best they can be in those situations, and not get wired up, not get tight about it. Have them relaxed and calm, like, hey, I've done this before, because we've been in all these games. All 5 of them, we've been in every single one of them. And I think that's on Saturday. We did a better job of not getting wired up, as I say, but we got to continue to grow. And the only way you grow and learn is just more experience. So hopefully we get more experience here moving forward.
When you're going up against an opponent that there's probably a lack of familiarity, whether it's coaches or players, is there a level of comfort you guys can take from the fact that you've played Kansas State, Montana, North Dakota State, a 6-team in the playoff Missouri Valley schedule? What does that do for your guys, you think?
I mean, I think it's exactly what Coach said. Anywhere, anytime, any place. It doesn't really matter. Like I always say, like we got ready for Murray, and I said, hey, you got to bring your own juice. There ain't going to be anybody there. So you got to be ready to go, and you got to bring your own juice. And sometimes that's hard. It really is. You get into the grind of the season, but like Coach said, you see your school's name come across that board on Sunday morning. There should be a rejuvenation. There should be an excitement level that, we're going to have to maybe hopefully calm the guys down a little bit, because they're going to be so juiced up, so anxious, so excited. The familiarity piece, I mean, it is what it is. It's football. Put the ball down, let's play. It's going to be what it is. I think there's going to be a great crowd. It's going to be a great atmosphere. The weather's going to be awesome. So I think we just got to do a good job bringing our own juice and being focused, being locked in. And that starts with us having a great week this week. But, hopefully we can do a good job of just understanding our keys and staying within the program, staying within ourselves, and playing to our standard.
Going to play an outdoor game, maybe you guys like to practice outdoors, but if it snows tomorrow, I don't know if that's going to represent what you're going to see. How do you practice this week?
Yeah, well, I think there's always good things to be outside and be inside, because you got to be ready for anything. We've watched a ton of their film, obviously, as of this point, and they've been in a couple rain games, a lot of rain games, to be honest with you. So we got to be prepared for anything, whether it's footing, whether is the ball wet or not. If it snows, we probably won't be outside, but we've got beautiful weather. Today and yesterday have been really nice. We got to get outside and do some things, catch the ball in the cold and throw the ball in the cold and run and hit and tackle and do stuff like that. So I think our guys have handled the weather situations actually really well this season. I don't think that, being indoors is anything that we have ever talked about, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't affect your process as you go. And, we haven't really played in any cold games, but we've been outdoors dealing with the wind, dealing with some of the rain. Kansas State, it was raining in the early part of the game there, and balls were wet pre-game. So we're prepared for anything. We'll be ready to go. I hope we go outside. I always like being out there. It's good.
Do you see anything in that last drive against South Dakota State at the end of regulation? You needed to get a touchdown. You were able to get in the 2-point. You kind of see that as a flipping point for your offense. When you needed to have it, you got it.
Yes and no. I'd like to try and tell everybody that I'm a glass half full kind of guy, but if you worked with me every day, you probably wouldn't believe that. Really happy with our just calm, confident demeanor to go out and execute. And probably the most exciting thing is that, again, like I said earlier to Tom, there was no instances where Jerry was like, I don't know what that was. And that's really exciting to see his development take the next step. Our protection, I thought, was great. Between the O-line, the tight ends, the backs, really good. I think you saw some different guys make some plays. Dang showed up, made some plays. Nate showed up, made some plays. Corey Ty made some plays. The backs made some plays in some check down situations. So I think there was a calmness, even though there was a sense of urgency, hey, we got to go do this now, or it's over. But there wasn't a panic. There wasn't a wired up situation, as I've said. Tons of confidence, belief. yeah, just really excited about that. The challenge is to do it all the time, not have that lull in the third quarter where we turn the ball over twice and especially after the defense got 2 stops in their area, where it's like we got to just go flip the field, play good team football, flip the field, do a great job of putting a good drive together. And I told Jerry a couple times, and this is something I remember as a player, is like tell him all the time, hey, just get the first down, right? Go get the first down and then see what happens, right? And that's something that he's doing a better job of learning and preaching to the guys and trying to get them to be all on the same page. Like, hey, let's just go get that first down, then we can get in a mode, get in a mojo and get moving. And, I think you saw it there. I thought Deng really showed up and did a lot of great things. And Jerry fit the ball into some tight windows, but our guys did a heck of a job in protection and in the run game there too as well.
What was your mindset going after the SDSU game ahead of hearing your name called? What was kind of going through your head during that time?
Yeah, like Coach said, I mean, you're kind of all over the place with it. As an offensive staff, we talked about, hey, we're going to come in Sunday morning, we're going to grade the film, we're going to break it down, go through it, watch it as a staff, and then just hope, wish, and pray that things go well. Because you're like teetering on, this sucks, we got to turn in our equipment, now we got to talk about exit meetings. You don't want to do that. And then you're sitting there thinking, like, we got to get better because we just got beat, right? Obviously, we got to learn, we got to improve. So you're sitting there I'm telling myself, like, hey, I want to talk to the quarterbacks. I want to watch all the film. I want to go through it regardless of what happens. And then you're sitting there going, like, I'm excited because, hopefully we get in, and you're hearing all the things. You get to watch everything, whether it's on TV or people sending you stuff on social media. So you're kind of all over the place, to be honest with you, and mentally you just try to stay real calm. And then when you hear your name, then it's hey, we got to get all the film. It's a rush. Now we got to watch it with the cues, watch it with the players, go through the goals, talk about what we can do better, what we can improve on, where we need to, take the next step. And then taking a negative and saying, hey, how can we be better? Like, you scored 31 points. It should have been a lot more, we feel like. It just goes down to, like, hey, how do we learn? How do we build momentum and positive energy from it? Even though you're frustrated, you're upset, and the guys are too, but it's kind of like, hey, we're happy, we're excited because we get to go play. We get to go, we get an opportunity to go down to Tennessee and play a really great team. And like I told the Qs, you get 7 more days here. And Simon, you get 7 more days. So let's do everything we can to make it not just 7. Let's make it more. So there's an excitement, frustration, positivity, pissed offness. I mean, I don't know. You're all over the place.
Just all over.
Yeah.
If you compare your preseason expectations for this offense to where you guys have kind of finished the regular season, what surprised you most about this group throughout this whole process?
Oof. Gosh, that's a tough question. Surprised me the most? I mean, I think probably the consistency, up front has been not surprising, but just been a real positive kind of lean in staple of our program. And I that's not surprising to me. I guess what I'm trying to say is you got to give credit to the previous staff who was here before, us. I think you got to give credit to our current staff, keeping the guys here. I think you got to give credit to our nutrition staff, our strength staff, our academic people, everybody, to keep that group here. I think that's why it's kind of surprising to me, kind of to be answering out of both ends of my mouth there. Like, they've been an incredibly stable factor for us, and they've taken leaps and bounds of getting better. And it's not the same guys, We've had some rotation. We've had some injuries. We've had some guys step in and step out and step back in. And they've been consistently good, And I think the exciting thing is that you got to keep them developing. You got to keep growing them. You got to keep getting them better, because that's where you start. That's where you win and lose games, is the guys up front. So I don't know if it's necessarily surprising, but it's what we want to be built on, is having a group up front that can manage the game, can handle the game. No matter what we're going to do, run or pass, they can handle it. So, that's been maybe the, not surprise, but the exciting piece about where we're at. The surprising piece, I think, is the overall development of, guys in the pass game and continuing to grow. It's been a lot of ups and downs, but we've gotten better. Jerry's done a nice job. He's gotten better.
Playing teams like Kansas State, how much did those types of performances shape your guys' confidence heading into a playoff match against Tennessee Tech?
Yeah, probably a good amount, but not as much as we'd want. You got to go win those games. Then your confidence, you're starting to talk about like, hey, we're getting too high. Our guys are too high. They're too confident, right? It's high. Don't get me wrong, but I wish it was higher. I really do. I wish they were more confident. I wish we would have won some of those games. And it comes down to our execution. I think we have such a great staff and such a great program. Like Coach Schmidt sits there and he's talking about some of the things the defense didn't do well on Saturday. Well, come on. We got 2 turnovers on Saturday. We weren't good enough on third down. Like we were bad. That's on us. We got to score when we get the ball turned over to us. And we got to be better on third down to stay on the field. Keep them off the field. So, our confidence is high, but I wish it was higher because we should have won those games, but woulda, shoulda, coulda, you didn't. So we have confidence. Don't get me wrong. I just wish it was higher. And like I told the guys on Sunday, like you better have some swagger walking down into this place. You know what I'm saying? This thing shouldn't shock you. You've been in it 5-6 times this year. Like nothing should shock you. You should have confidence and swagger. And I guess that's why I answer the way I do. Like. We should have more, We should have more. We got too many kids that are almost too humble at times.
How much of an impact has this playoff run been influenced by, obviously, Coach's first year and then Kaminski leading this group of guys, too?
Yeah, Coach Schmidt has advertised with what he said he wants to do and then the follow-through. Like, the influence, tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. He's a great person. He's a great coach. Awesome guy to work for. He's been unbelievable. So you see that, not only from the outside, but from the inside. The kids love playing for him. The kids love coming to work every day, and competing. So it's been awesome to work and to learn from him. And I think Jerry's done a good job of continuing to develop. And like I said, probably 3 weeks ago, I think it's a testament to his work, obviously, number one, but then also number two, Simon and his mentorship of Jerry. Javance, even though he's gotten hurt, his mentorship of Jerry. They sit in the back of the corner in one of our position meetings, and at times I'm like, are we screwing around or are we getting better? And, Javance has got his foot up and trying to work the old Rice mechanic there, rest, ice, compression, and elevation. And, they're talking, but they're comparing notes. And he's like, hey, did you see the corner on this? You see the safety on that? We have just such a good group, and they all learn from each other. And I think that's big. That starts from Coach Schmidt and his, culture, leadership right out of the gate. If you don't have that, it's hard to get coached from your peers, even when they're, in the same position group. So it's been awesome. It's been incredible. Both those guys have been incredible. Very thankful, blessed to be a part of it.
Well, Jerry, it's kind of same question. Where, how did you find out and what's going through your head?
Yeah, me and my roommates were watching the show and kind of found out that way. Just hearing our name get called, there's a lot of excitement. You look around, you start getting text messages, and there's just a lot of excitement. Kind of like Jai was saying, we're eager to get another week and excited to prove ourselves.
How do you feel about the state of the offense here the last few weeks? Where are you guys at? What's kind of going through your head in those terms?
Yeah, I think a couple things are clicking, and there's obviously things we got to work on. I think biggest thing right now is just finishing in the red zone and then staying on top of things in first and second downs just to make it we're in more third and manageables, third and shorts, or just stay out of third downs. I think we got a good thing going, but there's a lot that we can improve on and that we're going to attack this week.
I think they've said that you guys played the number one strength of schedule in the country. Do you feel like does that sharpen you, or does that wear you down? How are you feeling taking that schedule now into the postseason?
Yeah, I think it sharpens us for sure, and there's a lot of confidence just knowing that you have played a lot of the best teams in the country. There's a lot of confidence knowing that you can do it against anybody. I mean, we haven't had trouble moving the ball really versus anyone. We just got to finish some drives, finish some things at the end of the game, and that's the biggest thing that we're working on is just, like I said before, staying on top of drives and then finishing in the red zone, finishing on third down. That's the biggest thing.
You know, I think with your second touchdown pass the other day, you broke the regular season, single season touchdown record. Did you have any idea that was on the radar? And at what point maybe did you know that happened?
Yeah, not really, to be honest. I found out after the game, not really something I was thinking about or worried about. I mean, kind of just a credit to our whole team, the offensive line doing a great job protecting, running backs, tight ends, receivers, finishing. But like I said, yeah, not really something I'm focused on. Be something cool I can tell my kids in the future.
What do you think of passing a guy like Danny Freund, who you have some familiarity with, on that records list?
Yeah, that's pretty cool, especially since he brought me here and was the guy that kind of, first saw the potential in me. So that's pretty cool.
You mentioned him seeing the potential, and you obviously your first year as a starter, and you helped get your team into the playoffs. Just talk about the season as a whole. Just how proud are you of yourself in putting together a good first year behind center?
Yeah, I mean, I'm proud of this team. We've battled through a lot. It's not always easy when you get coaching changes, but I mean, this team really stuck together and bought into what Coach Schmidt and what the rest of the coaching staff was saying. And I think that's the biggest thing is that this group really feels like a brotherhood right now, and there's a lot of confidence in the room, and guys are sticking together. It's a lot of fun.
You mentioned maybe finishing some drives. Is that kind of what you pinpoint to some of these 5 one-score losses, or is there something else that you think has to change and be corrected as you head into the postseason?
Yeah, I mean, when we have opportunities in the red zone, we have to capitalize. We got to finish in the end zone, not settle for field goals, and then at the end of the game, when we have chances, we got to finish, and that's something that we're going to be better at.
Ahead of hearing that you guys got in the playoffs, what was going through your head for those few hours after the game and then heading into that morning?
Yeah, I mean, you were just eager to find out. I mean, it was a terrible feeling losing that game, knowing that you left it into the committee's decision, especially for the seniors who have bought into this program and put so much into it, so much time and effort. I mean, you want it for everyone on the team, but those guys especially. So I'm just really grateful for the opportunity and, like I said, to go get another chance to prove ourselves.
How do you embrace the pressure of the win-or-go-home scenario, knowing UND has had its fair share of close battles here and there throughout the season?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I wouldn't even say it's pressure. The games that we've played in and the Valley games that you play in, there's pressure every week to perform. And, every game matters in the regular season and during the first couple weeks of the season, especially as you get later in the season. So I think this is just another game just like that. I mean, obviously, there's a little more stakes, and we're going to prepare like that, but it's exciting.
With it being Coach's first season, having him lead you guys, and then you obviously lead this team also into the playoffs, what message from him has kind of stuck with you throughout the season that you feel like will stick with you throughout this playoff run too?
Coach Schmidt says all the time that the work is the work and the work works, and I think that's the biggest thing that's been in my mind is ever since he's got there, he's pushed us that extra mile and had us doing extra reps, extra drills, coming in for extra hours of study, doing stuff like that. So, I mean, just trusting the work and knowing that you've put in the time, so that creates a lot of confidence.
What are you most excited for during this stretch?
Just another opportunity to go out there with my best friends and people that I love in this building and just get to prove ourselves and do it for the community, really.
Jai, how did you hear the news, and what was your reaction?
I heard the news. I actually watched it on YouTube TV. I was actually in Bernie's eating, and my reaction was just happy. I was just grateful that we were given the opportunity to actually go be in the postseason, and we were able to dance. So I'm actually truly grateful for it. So
Was that a weird feeling after the South Dakota State game to kind of be in limbo?
yeah, that was a weird feeling because you don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know. It's the committee they're different. They're different people. They have different decisions. Like you just don't know. You don't know. That could have went 2 different ways. We could have not got in. We could have got in. We don't know. So if we would have won the game, we would have known. We would have been in. So it's just that feeling of unknown. It's weird.
As a defense, like where do you feel like you guys are at? Just coming into this game, like feel like you guys are in a good place, need to fix this or that, or like what are you feeling?
When my feeling, I'm disappointed just how we played, our performance, especially in the second half. We got to get a lot of things corrected, and we're going to get it corrected. We just got to be better at just doing our job, and we're gonna get that fixed, and we're just gonna get back to how we've been playing defense all year. So that is definitely one of the biggest corrections we're gonna make this week.
Have you guys even started to dive into, Tennessee Tech for a program like North Dakota is a very random kind of opponent. Have you guys had a chance to dig in yet?
I personally have had a chance to dig in. I watched a little bit yesterday. So, yeah, I've been getting a little bit of who they are. They got a really good quarterback and a good tight end. So,
did any of your football travels take you to Tennessee? Is this going to be a first?
Repeat that one more time, sorry.
Have your football travels taken you to Tennessee, or is this first time?
First time. I've never been to Tennessee, not for a football game at least. So, that'd be first.
You mentioned kind of the limbo heading into yesterday. Just does the team kind of feel like this is a second chance to kind of go out and try to make a run in the postseason now?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the team feel like we've been given another opportunity, and we're given another opportunity to prove to everybody that what we can do. Pretty grateful, and we feel like we owe it to the fans, to everybody. We owe it to everybody. So.
Going back, obviously, to Saturday and then the season in totality, is there something that the defense or the team pinpoints on all these one-score losses that's correctable, or is it what's kind of your take on the games there?
I feel like my take in those games is first we just got to put these guys away. We've been in multiple chances to put them away. We got to put them away. We can't let teams like this hang around. We know good teams are going to find good plays. Their players are going to make plays, so it's best to put those teams away early. And then we got to finish at the end. We just got to get it. We got to get the job done. So that's really what it is. Just got to get the job done.
Were you shocked to hear North Dakota's name be said when you were listening to the broadcast?
I don't know if I would use the word shocked. But I was relieved more so. I was relieved to know that we get another chance to go out there and prove who we are as a football team.
Obviously, this first year under Eric Schmidt, what does this kind of prove about him stepping in and being able to get you guys into the playoffs in his first season as the coach?
Honestly, it just shows what kind of coach he is. He coaches with heart, love, passion. He gives it everything he got. So that's what kind of helps us give everything we got. We're a direct representation of him.
Having one of the toughest schedules this season, how much do you feel like that'll prepare you for this playoff stretch?
That'll prepare us greatly. Being able to play those hard games, it's gonna it showed us who we were as a team, and it showed us what we can do as a team. So it prepared us great, because playoffs is hard. You're gonna play some of the best teams. So.
Last thing, what are you most excited for during this playoff stretch?
I'm just most excited for the opportunity, another chance to prove ourselves. We had some disappointing losses, and I'm most excited to just prove to the world who we are and what we can do. And they've given us this opportunity, so we just got to seize the opportunity.